were forced to undress in the presence of Lia, a 6'4" tall biological male, fully intact with male genitalia, 18 times per week. Some girls opted to change in bathroom stalls, and others used the family bathroom to avoid this. When we tried to voice our concerns to the athletic department, we were told that Lia's swimming and being in our locker room was a non-negotiable, and we were offered psychological services to attempt to re-educate us to become comfortable with the idea of undressing in front of a male.
Powerful testimony there by Paula Scanlan, who's a former UPenn swimmer who was teammates with transgender athlete Lia Thomas. Paula was speaking to a congressional committee just last week. She joins us now live with an update on how she's doing since then. Paula, thank you very much for coming on. Again, you experienced what it was like to swim alongside Lia Thomas as teammates, and then, of course, what you do before and after swim meets, where you prepare for them within the locker room, and in do so, you're changing into your swim gear. Can you sort of take us back to that testimony and what you've experienced since then?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on. Yeah, the testimony was obviously a great exposure for my name and my story. I don't think I'd ever really addressed how uncomfortable I really felt in the locker room. It was 18 times a week, and I don't think that's a number anyone really realized how much we were going through. And, you know, before practice, you have to change into your suit. After practice, you have to change into your suit. And overall, girls' feelings of being uncomfortable undressing in front of men should be heard, and no one's really heard that story before.
Right. And if I recall, it was Riley Gaines who had competed against Lia Thomas, and she spoke out publicly after they had tied, but Lia received the trophy. And of course, there were some girls on the UPenn team who, at the time of the competition, didn't feel comfortable speaking out. Is that right? When did you find sort of the confidence and the nerve and the ability to come forward with your story?
Yeah, so I graduated from University of Pennsylvania last year in May. So it took me over a year upon graduating to be comfortable sharing my story, because I think part of it was that I really wanted to be distant from the situation. It's very easy to leave a hard situation and never want to talk about it ever again. But thinking about the young girls that are going to be impacted by this, and all the other women that don't have voices yet or haven't experienced this yet and are about to, I couldn't stay quiet because I had to do it for them. And it took me a lot, and it's been challenging. It's definitely changed the course of my life. Riley's talked about that in the past. But overall, it's for the best, it's for the young girls, and it's the right thing to do.
Yeah, and for those, young female athletes out there, I know they're very grateful for your courage in speaking out about this. And so we addressed sort of how uncomfortable it can be when you're in a vulnerable situation in a locker room where you're changing in front of someone of the opposite gender than you are, the opposite sex, excuse me. I guess Lia Thomas, again, identifies as a woman, but we know there are biological differences there. Talk to me, though, from a physical perspective when it comes to the ability to compete. So that was one aspect, the uncomfortableness of it all. But then also, was there an advantage that Lia Thomas had that other swimmers on your team would not have?
Yeah, men have physical advantages to women. This is something that I thought everybody was on the same page about. But men, on average, are taller, have larger lungs, have bigger hearts, have stronger bones, and all of those factors that men have an advantage to women on attributes to being a faster swimmer and being a better athlete in every single sport. And so that was very obvious to me at the beginning. No matter how much you suppress your hormones are just one aspect of the advantage men have over women. And suggesting that just suppressing your testosterone is going to make a level and fair playing field is inaccurate.
Sure. I mean, just look at the physical advantages here. You're talking about, much bigger overall, bigger wingspan. And when you're in the swimming pool together, clearly Lia Thomas would have an advantage. I know, Paula, you weren't the only one to testify before Congress again on that day. Chloe Cole, who also spoke out. She had undergone gender transition therapy and a double mastectomy at the time, and she spoke about the dangers of sort of going through the so-called gender-affirming care at such a young age. Again, she was born a woman and underwent through these therapies, and she had a very moving testimony. Here's part of that.
The gender specialist I was taken to see Told my parents that I needed to be put on puberty-blocking drugs right away. They asked my parents a simple question: would you rather have a dead daughter or a living transgender son? A month later, when I was 13, I had my first testosterone injection. It's caused permanent changes to my body. My voice will forever be deeper, my jawline sharper, my nose longer, my bone structure permanently masculinized, my Adam's apple more prominent, my fertility unknown. I look in the mirror sometimes and I feel like a monster.
And I know, Paula, you were there obviously to testify about protecting women's sports, but when you were listening, we saw your arm in the video there. You were sitting right next to Chloe Cole. Did that stand out to you? And what did you make of her testimony?
Yeah, Chloe is a wonderful speaker, a wonderful person, and is so brave at just 19 years old for speaking out about this. It's an honor to be there with her. Her story is really jarring and really shows how crazy this movement is to affect children. It's one thing for adults to make adult decisions for themselves and alter their body with cosmetic surgeries. I have no issue with any adult making decisions for themselves. But for children, for kids, Chloe underwent surgery. And in the testimony, the other side was claiming that children aren't getting surgeries. Meanwhile, I'm sitting next to Chloe Cole that had a double mastectomy in her teens. And that just shows the reality that this is happening to children, and we need to protect children. Adults can do what adults want to do, but children should be off limits.
Sure. And again, the fact that they say, men aren't competing against women in college, we've seen that, and your story is a testament to that. Paula Scanlan speaking out. We appreciate your time today, Paula. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me on.
You're welcome.